Twinkies last 271 days on average with a standard deviation of 37 days before getting stale. Sorry about that. Use this information to answer parts A through C. Part A. What proportion of Twinkies lasts fewer than 200 days? Well, when we see the word proportion or any of the P words, percentile, probability, you should be thinking z-scores and using our z-table to find those proportions, probabilities, percents, right? So the first thing we have to do is find our z-score, and we know that z is the value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So our value in this particular problem is 200 minus our standard deviation of 271 and divide by the standard deviation of 37 days. So I think I said the wrong, mean is 271. We always do the numerator first. So I have negative 71 over 37. Yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing on my paper. So we end up with a z-score of approximately negative 1.92. Now, if you look at your table, that is not in the table. So we are going to have to approximate and use a z-score of negative 1.9 in our table. Now, we know that a z-score of 0 is in the middle, negative 1.9 is going to be over here. And it says fewer than 200 days, and that means less, so to the left. Well, when I look at my table, the proportion or the area under the curve in the table is given to the left of my z-score. So my answer is 0.0287 from my table. Part B. What proportion of Twinkies lasts longer than 305 days? Well, same concept. We still have to start with the z-score. So our value now is 305 minus our average or our mean of 271 and divide it by our standard deviation of 37. Again, numerator first. So what does that give me? 34 divided by 37, which gives me a z-score of 0.92. Again, that is not given in our table. The closest z-score is 0.9. So when I think about my normal distribution, a z-score of 0 is in the middle. That means 0.9 is going to be to the right. And this says longer than 305 days. So now we are looking for area to the right. Well, recall that when you look in your table and you look up 0.9 for the z-score, you're going to get an answer of 0.8159. That's area to the left, right? That is all of this area. That's not what we want. We want this side. So I take all the area, subtract the area to the left, and that will give me my answer of 0.1841, and there's the area to the right. So the proportion of Twinkies that last longer, 0.1841, or 18.41% of Twinkies. By the way, all made up data. And letter C. Enter the score that approximates the lowest 31% of the distribution. Well, when they tell you the lowest 31%, they're saying 0.31 is the area under the curve. So you're kind of working backwards. In your Z, you're trying to find the z-score that goes with an area under the curve of 0.31. So you look in your table under the proportion column, and you're looking for 0.31. Well, it's not in there. The closest one is 0.3085. So we're going to approximate. And the z-score that goes with that is negative 0.50. So now we work backwards because remember, z equals value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So if I have my z-score of negative 0.5, I'm trying to find my value minus my mean of 271 and divided by my standard deviation of 37. That's a horrible looking 37. Let's try that again. Whoop, there we go. So I'm going to go to the next page. This is a little bit easier to see. X minus 271 divided by 37. The equal sign splits my equation directly in half. So we need to figure out how to get x by itself. Well, first we got to get rid of this divide by 37. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 37. So on the right side, they cancel out, and I'm left with x minus 271. And on the left, when I take 37 and I multiply by a negative 0.5, I get a negative 18.5. All right, well, the next step, still working to get x by itself. Instead of subtracting 271, I'm going to add 271 to both sides. Those will cancel out and just give me 0, and I'm left with x equals 252.5. So if you're trying to find the score that approximates the lowest 31%, 252, that means a Twinkie that lasts 252.5 days will last longer than 31% of the Twinkies.